Greetings to each and every one. Welcome to another chapter, another episode of the Reggae Planet Radio Showcase. And you're listening to the voice of the Reggae Planet Ambassador Worldwide, Rasta Ruben Kwabena. On the microphone control center, inside the Reggae Planet Radio Studios. And today, we're talking about African Worldview, Political and Economical, Part 2. Yes, indeed. And this is still a part of the overall series known as the Politics of Capitalism. So today we're talking about the politics of economical systems based upon an African worldview and the reality that the politics as we know it, the regular politics in the world, is not necessarily the African worldview. These were imposed upon us by colonial forces, you know what I mean, during the days of slavery and during the years of wars and invasion and occupation. So now we need to think outside the box and be creative. We need to go inside our own ancient African culture and ancient African history, mystery, prophecy, and living reality, and find some gems and find some treasures in terms of knowledge and know-how, in terms of culture, in terms of African roots and culture, and create and expand our own worldview to find ways and means to do things in a more African way that will benefit all of our people, not just some, but the majority, and try to benefit each and everyone. For Africa and for the entire planet and for all the children of creation, for all humanity. Yes, indeed. That is the type of worldview that we need to develop right now. And that is why I say be creative, be inventive, think outside the box, and know that it is good to bring forward fresh ideas to the table. Yes, indeed, it is good to bring forward fresh ideas. That is what it's all about. This is what we're talking about inside the Reggae Planet Spotlight today. Yes, indeed. Today, inside Reggae Planet Radio Showcase, African Worldview, Political and Economical, Part 2. In previous topics, we were talking about Dubai. And, about Dubai as an example of a pretty face of capitalism and how they have made it work. You know what I mean? And that is the Middle East. So there's a lot of Middle East countries now who are rising up in a really magnificent manner. So within this magnificent manner that a lot of these Middle Eastern countries are rising up, some people will say you have different religions, Christian, you have Jewish, you have Muslim, you have Buddhist, and all of these things. But there's one feature of the Islamic religion that people hardly talk about, at least they hardly talk about it in the world of politics, but it's there. And it's the feature whereby, according to the religion of Islamic, you're not really supposed to charge interest. So, who knows, according to the struggle now, a lot of Islamic countries maybe now have some kind of interest rate that they charge, but overall you would have to imagine that because of their devotion to their culture, some of them does not have the same interest rates, at least not the same high degree of interest rates as seen in the regular world. And that would help to create more abundant prosperity for sure in the overall economy. Because even in the regular North American world, whenever they want to stabilize the economy and get things flowing, they try to do what they call lower the interest rates. Because the interest rates have a lot to do with the poverty and with the inflation and with the stress. Yes, indeed. Because if I lend you $10 and you have to give me back $15, or if I lend you $100 and you have to give me back $150, the extra money that you have to give me back is what costs the stress, is what costs the inflation, is what costs the prices to keep rising. You see? So within a righteousness then, there would be no interest charge, and that is what is enshrined in some deepness of the Islamic faith. So each religion plays their role too inside of the politics and inside of the capitalism and inside of the worldview. It depends on what the religion allows to happen, or the religion don't allow to happen, or the religion promote or don't promote. So as we can see, the religions are actually contributing to, let's say, how the society run. Culturally they contribute, but in some ways you don't really see it. But in such a way as an interest rate or something like that, that would make a big difference, But some religions, doesn't matter if the religion teach them good things or not. When it comes down to business, they don't care about the religion. They know how to separate it mentally. Even if they're Christian or whatever, they don't care about that when they're doing business. They just do business cold. They have a saying where they say business is business. So that means when it comes to business, they don't get emotional, they don't get humanitarian, they don't bother with anything that would cause them to think more compassionate. They just think about the numbers and how it works once they apply a certain serious business headspace to it, where it's all about how to make the money, how to spend the least and make the most. So that is what's facing the world right now, that whole situation. But we would love to see Africa rise up and Africa contribute to some worldview in terms of what type of economic situation we want for our countries. It would be nice to see that, because we don't have to all follow the same system, especially if it's not really working for us all. And what we've seen in many situations is that some African countries try and develop a different worldview, a different economic system, because the world has been stuck on capitalism, democracy, as well as communism and socialism. So, at least somebody was doing some form of thinking, somebody was doing some kind of creativity to do something that they wanted to do. But what about trying to come up with something outside of the box, thinking outside of the box, and inventing something new that could benefit more people? Yeah, it's worth a try. So, in many cases, as we have seen, when a world leader or a leader of a country tries something different, in many cases they attack him. Yeah, and they might create a war, and soon enough, that country is devastated and in ruins. We've seen it in Libya, and we've seen it in other countries around the world. But it's interesting to look into what that new government was trying, because sometimes there was some new ideas on the plate or on the table. In the case of Libya, Mr. Gaddafi definitely had some different ideas. And whether you love him or you hate him or how you see him or whatever, the point is that it's good to have some new ideas. Why can't there be some other new idea of how to run the world or how to run a government? If it can help the people, it's a good idea. Yes. You know what I'm saying? So it seems that mankind has been stuck at one type of ideas, or maybe two or three, and they've been fighting around these ideas too. They had world wars and cold wars, fighting between democracy and fighting between communism, fighting between nationalism and fighting between what the next one where they call again, apartheid system. They had one in Italy too. I can't remember it exactly right now. Yeah, the one in Italy was called fascism. It's a type of system, a political system, which is a form of dictatorship really, and it has something to do with looking at the people as one bundle of people, with a concept that the government should control everything that the people does, or the government should rule with force and authority. You see me? So they've tried various different systems throughout the world, and obviously dictator is one of the systems that they've tried throughout the world. Various versions of dictator. And the people don't usually like that system that much. The people tend to rebel against dictator business and that type of political system. Even as I was speaking earlier, the people also rebelled against various cruel kings, our aristocracy, right? Because they felt that why should just the king and the queen be treated as royal people? What about the regular people? Aren't they royal people too? Aren't we all the children of Jah? Aren't we all the children of God? Aren't we all the children of creation? So therefore, aren't we all royal? Aren't we the royal family of the planet? You see? So we have different worldviews within the African worldview. And the point is, why can't we as Africans develop our own worldview now? Or not to say develop, because we already have developed our own worldview. But why aren't we allowed to express them and to use them? Or why do we think that it wouldn't be nice to use our worldview? Why does every country must be under the same system? Maybe it's not working for everyone. You know what I'm saying? Because if it was working for everyone, there would be smiles around. We wouldn't have to talk about capitalism, ugly face and pretty face, or capitalism, pretty face and ugly face. We could just say capitalism, pretty face. But as a result of what is going on, we can't really say that. So the point of this particular topic today, the African worldview, politics and economy, is to say, why can't we as Africans look into ourselves and be creative and be taking the initiative and think outside the box, as they say, and come up with some new ideas around how our government could work, or how our political economical system could work, and try some new things. You know what I'm saying? Because we need things now that's going to address the entire population, not just make a few people rich and the majority poor, or maybe one country look really nice and the other country is sad, you know what I'm saying, or looking ugly. Why should that be when every country have resources, every country have something to offer? Yes, indeed. So we need a new philosophy now based upon the African worldview. And outside of Africa, other people too can come up with new humanitarian views of how to organize themselves on the planet. The future appears to be more technology, more scientific, or even more natural understanding of organics and all these things. So more knowledge really. Whether you want to go technology or you want to go back to more the nature knowledge. But knowledge in general really is the future, because in many cases the Prime Minister or the President or the world leader may not have as much knowledge as somebody who was really studied. You see me? And everyone depending now on whatever the knowledge is revealing. The knowledge is revealing that there's a better way to grow food more abundantly and to use less water or less pollution, and the food is more nutritious, then that knowledge is supreme, and that knowledge should stand supreme. So the world view of where it's all about the money, make all the final decision is not necessarily the most healthy. Maybe what could make the most money is not what is most healthy, or it's not what is best for the environment. And in the case of Africa, maybe what could make the most money is not what is actually good for all the African people. Or how about how is the money shared? Maybe the sharing of the money is part of the problem too. How is the money shared? Maybe in capitalism the money is shared a certain way, or in communism it's shared a certain way, or in socialism. So maybe we have to come up with something else now to know how to share the money among ourselves, or how to share the abundant prosperity. So abundant prosperity is the future within this planet, within the great Africa. So we're calling upon all African people, young and old and all good people around the planet to think outside the box and come up with some new worldview, come up with some new political, economical, viewpoints that could help your country and help the planet and help all humanity. And that is what we're talking about. Once again, this is the voice of yours truly, Rasta Ruben Kwabena, Reggae Planet Ambassador worldwide, and you're listening to the Reggae Planet Radio Showcase inside the topic known now today as the African Worldview, Politics and Economy. Check it out right here, right now, and you could like, comment, share, and subscribe, and tell your friends about Reggae Planet Radio Showcase. Thank you all for tuning in.